Anyway, let's just move on to the next call.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Who do you want to talk to?
Let's talk with Adam in North Carolina.
All right. Adam is calling in, and let me see. It says, how do believers and non-believers, including people in our own communities who disagree, work together more on the things that we agree on instead of making these people's... there you go. Our enemies.
I put something in front by accident. Hi, Adam.
You're live with Eric and V.
Hi, V and Eric. Sorry, I forgot. I've spoken to you, Eric, before, but not you, V. Good speaking with you both today.
Absolutely. Good talking with you, too. What's up?
Well, don't worry. This is not a troll call. I know this is not your 100th episode. That set off some red flags, and probably I'm doing the worst thing by even mentioning that person after they've gone off the air.
Adam, that is totally okay. Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It's not like it's our fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you guys made the sorry, I'm from New York, so I would say, like, guys.
So, no, you're
right.
good. I say guys all the time.
Okay, cool. So you both made the best of it. And, so I think when it comes down to it, my question, and I'm not trying to start anything, I really want the best for humanity. I would consider myself a humanist. And I see a lot of times, like, let's just take, I'm going to throw names out there. Let's just take, like, Ocean Keltoy. But this is not meant to be a conversation centered around him.
Yeah,
Shall we change people?
Yeah, let's change it to someone who doesn't exist. Just because we don't want to.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Yeah, it kind of changes the focus to intrapersonal conflict instead of the topics. So yeah, let's go person X.
Person X. And so this could be anyone who believes in, like, let's say veganism, or anybody, because there's all these hot button topics. Like, obviously, if I say veganism, all of a sudden people get divided. So I'm obviously switching maybe to other people might think about. And I don't want to point out anyone in particular. Thank you, Eric, for that advice. Because I think sometimes we want there to be the villain of our story. And that person I mentioned previously is not a villain. I have high respect for them and think they're a great orator. Yeah. And I think we shouldn't have villains of our stories, because the goal is we all work together. And it brings me great sadness when sometimes people think, like, oh, this person we're working against, or they're working against us. Meanwhile, we have 95% in common. Like most vegans, I'm going to agree with everything on. Mm-hmm. But then, maybe someone decides to spell spell fetus backwards and come up with a name based on it, and all of a sudden people demonize them. You don't know that. And I find them to be quite a eloquent. I can't even speak.
No,
but anyway,
you're good.
That's my problem. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I have ideas. And I'll go first, and then I know V has a more nuanced view.
I like that you just assume that my view here is going to be more nuanced.
It usually is. Do you want to go first? Go for it.
So I feel like there are two sides to this. On the one end, absolutely. There are people who we agree on with 90% of things, and for some reason we like focusing on that 10%. And that stymies a lot of growth, both in the community and, in the greater, outside world, because we can't work together to get the things that we agree on are necessary, right? Mm-hmm. So I absolutely agree that that's the case, and I think that what we're doing with this show in particular is trying to move in that direction in a way that is interesting, because the interest really lies in that 10% a lot of the time, especially online, where that's where the drama is, right? That's where everybody wants to be and see, ooh, who said this about who and what did they say back? And like the response video to the response video to the response video. It can be addictive, but that's not how we grow. And so I think what we're trying to do here is exactly that. Try to address that 10% by focusing on the 90% that we do agree on and trying to come to a conclusion. But there's also the component of sometimes that 10% is really harmful, right? And that's not always the case. But we should always be looking at the quality of that 10% that we disagree on, because sometimes it might be something we can work around. Sometimes it might be something we disagree with but can live with, or maybe they have a different view of things, but they're not going to go around denying other people human rights. So, okay, we can have that conversation, but if I can trust you at the ballot box and in the day-to-day life to stand up for other people, That's cool. We're going to be fine. Sometimes that 10% is really harmful, and we should not shy away from calling people out, even if we do agree on 90% of things, if that 10% is something that could be really detrimental, either, again, to the internal community or the outside world around it. That's my 2 cents. I don't know if that's a nuanced take. Now I feel pressure.
I thought it was very nuanced. I couldn't. I agree with V. Oh, sorry, Eric, it's your turn to talk. I've talked a lot.
Adam, I would love for you to respond to V before I hop in.
Thank you so much. And the idea of the ballot box, like, let's say we take just a Christian. Like, I have so many friends and family who are Christian, but when they go to the ballot box, they're not going to vote against my LGBTQIA friends who not have the rights that normal people should have. No,
you're good. You're good. I got it.
Okay. That just, oh, God. I'm not even religious. I'm saying, God, now what have you done to me?
Intent matters a lot, Adam.
Yeah, no. Normal as in the majority. We get it.
Yeah, exactly. The majority. That's exactly. Thank you so much, Nate, for the grace on that. That's exactly it. Like, I don't think they're going to do these despicable things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to, at the Thanksgiving dinner table say, God's dead, right on this sheet of paper.
Right.
Exactly. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think I kind of, actually the point that I wanted to take dovetails well into the end of your point, V.
Yeah.
And that is, I understand to a degree that 10%. And I think that in my mind, I use the words like cause du jour. So as an example, I've been an activist and an ally in the LGBTQIA plus community before I was ever an atheist, more or less an atheist activist. And when I got involved in atheist activism, I had a friend reach out to me and was just like, hey, we've got this really big event going on. It was going on at the same time as an atheist event. And I was scheduled for this atheist event. And I said, I'm sorry, I've got this atheist event. And they're like, but we need you. And I really, that friend's opinion of me was lowered because I did not value one as high as the other the same way they did. And so, when these different facts about us intersect, you kind of find those things that, okay, you know what, I'm willing to die on this hill and I'm willing to die on this hill, but you can't do it all at once. You're only one person. But some people will go, hey, you know what, this is the most important thing. There are a lot of vegans. And somebody said in the chat, why not vegetarians? Well, the reason we're saying vegans is because it's shorthand for ethical vegans, people who think that murdering animals for food is tantamount to the same kind of murder that we have with humans, right? That, or just that it is as wrong as necessary to not, that it shouldn't exist. And so if somebody really thinks that we are murderers and they're like, holy crap, this is the most important thing to me, and they're not willing or able to see past that to work with us, that is their cause being the big thing in their life. And while I'm sad that I'm not able to work directly with them, I just hope that when we go to the ballot box that we'll still line up, but the thing is, you can't convince everybody to value all of the things that you value to the same degree that you do. And so when I see people going in these really, really intense directions, I take a step back and go, you know what? That's their cause du jour. That is their thing. That's the hill that they're dying on. And I have to appreciate that they're dying on a hill that I'm not. And hope that, everyone having these discussions is going to be better for it. But I don't necessarily think that it's causing division because, V, you've said it perfectly. That's 10%. And unfortunately, that 10% is much louder. And so you see it and you hear it. Somebody who says, Eric, I think that you are absolutely an immoral POS for eating meat is more likely to message us and call in to tell us that than all of our friends who are vegans going, we disagree with you, but we're still friends. You know what I mean? They're not calling in at the same with that same passion, and so it seems weighted the wrong way. But if anything, I would love to just take that as a bit of understanding and use what V said to reinforce that whole idea that for the most part, we are allies. For the most part, we are able to work together with people that we don't have everything in common with to achieve these goals. And we have to find ways to communicate that so that, we can breach those boundaries, but don't lose hope.
Can I make I have one last comment if you'd like to hear.
Absolutely.
And thank you, chat's been so kind to me. I saw people saying a few nice things. About, politics, my parents are very Republican, very religious. And my mother said to me, she said, Adam, I don't like Donald Trump. I said, well, then vote for Biden. She goes, well, I can't vote for Biden. And I said, well, you really don't like Donald Trump. You don't like what he's doing with the nation. She said, well, he's not pro-life. And I said, do you want Trump out of office? And she said, yes. I said, the best option to get him out of office is to vote Biden. And she said, you're right. And so my mom voted Democrat. And so I think sometimes it's good to have these conversations. And of course, I'm not going to hate my mother for all the Republican votes she's cast. I mean, they're pro a lot of things I'm pro, but have different views on different issues. But I think sometimes we have to be willing to have that conversation with them.
Absolutely.
What a great point. How many people may agree with us on 9 out of 10 things, but because that 10th thing is something they can't budge on, that they, vote for, a different party, and we think, oh, well, we assume that they have much more, that they disagree with us on. And the fact is, maybe we have more in common than we think. Hopefully. I don't know. I want to live in that world.
But it all starts with having that conversation exactly like you did with your mom, Adam. Hey, we agree on most of these things. I understand that this is an important thing for you too. We don't agree on that one. But if we can reason out the pros and cons here and what would make the most good, can we agree on the next step? And if we can't, that's okay, because that's something that we're just going to fundamentally disagree on, and maybe we'll agree to not talk about that anymore if that's the non-issue that is going to weight your other opinions. But most of the time, if talking to somebody who feels safe with you and who you can have a rational conversation with, if there is a way to get to that middle ground and to actually work together, it will happen. So,
thank you, V. Thank you, Eric.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adam.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
That was nice.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to be a little closer on the hang up, just in case there's a troll caller.
You know what?
Maybe give them a little less time to...
I really don't mind as much. I don't know. For some reason, I think if someone wants to make a fool out of themselves, it does not mean that we are fools. It just means that someone opted to be a fool.
I mean, I agree. I'm mostly thinking about the people who have not consented to listening to somebody being obnoxious or insulting on the line. But
well, we can pick this up. We can, yeah.